Passivity in marriage or relationships is not humility. This is for all the Christians out there. And I know some of you very well, and I see it live in action. Passivity is not humility. There's a confusing trend that I've seen unfold in a lot of married couples' lives where the wife will berate the husband. Sometimes this happens privately. Mostly it happens publicly. Because anything that's happening privately will spill over to the public realm. I've been privy to numerous situations where I've watched a wife, like actually in front of people, in front of like a group of people at a party, berate her husband, like live, like totally putting him down in front of a group of people. And these are quote unquote good Christian husbands in good Christian marriages. You'd say, how is this possible? So I've noticed from conversations with these folks, mostly the husbands, is that they have equated this passivity, which is a weakness, into humility. They flip-flopped it inside their own minds. And they're taking on being verbally demeaned and whatever, name called, whatever it might be, publicly, like, look at how humble I am. Well, let's go talk about that. There is nothing humble about a wife berating her husband. Do you know what that does, guys? So the couples that are witnessing this, they think it's okay. So you start making a tiny little cycle of destruction all around because of your poor behavior. And this has been solidified by, media and television of women doing this publicly and then thinking somehow it's funny to put down the person that they are married to. Why would anybody think that is funny? Why would anybody think that is a joke? Because it's not. It's disgusting. When it happens on TV, then it happens in real life. The other thing, too, is this cycle. So the friends are seeing it. The wives are seeing it of the friends. And they're thinking it's okay. They see it on TV. They think it's okay. You're cloaking your passivity with humility, which is BS, because neither one of those things is strong. And they're out of order, so to speak, because there's nothing humble about getting berated and not leading your family, because then you're not a leader. Like she's leading, and she's like letting everyone know, like, yo man, my husband is trash. It's the simplest terms. It comes out exactly like that. It's saying my husband is not even worth an ounce of respect, and I'm going to do this thing, and I don't care because this is how we live our life. And the husband's being like, look at how humble I am. I scourge myself. I'm so humble. I'm so great because I let my wife mistreat me publicly. Or even if it's not publicly. Don't let that happen, guys. The next thing is if you have children, what are the children watching? You have young boys and young girls in the house. What are they watching? They're watching this situation unfold. Do you think that they're not going to take note and the young girls are not going to treat their husbands similarly? Do you think the young men in that house, the young boys, are not going to expect it to be treated that way from their wives? Because they certainly are. They're going to think that's normal. That's normal behavior. And that stems from you. And then the next generation goes on. So take a look at yourself and don't cloak that humility, that passivity with being humble. That's not a virtue. It's almost like a vice. It's like, why are you not running your house appropriately? Why are you letting this unfold? Why are you making weaker generations? Why are you allowing yourself to be hammered upon, either publicly or privately? Like, don't allow that. And I'm not saying you need to, go out there next and correct it in the moment, because we're going to give tips on how to do that properly. I've seen it done properly because I've done it, and I've also seen it done improperly because I've done it. And I've also seen it happen privately, which that didn't go well either. So my advice to you guys that are in these situations would be to have those conversations privately and start setting some guidelines in a conversation on what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. Because their behavior is not acceptable. You're spoiling generations. You're ruining yourself. You're ruining your children. And God's going to judge you for that too. Like you have to think like you're not grandiose for not leading your house. You are not earning a higher spot in heaven for dismal behavior. God didn't make men strong for you to be a weak coward. And like, I think a lot of guys go into this mindset that they think or they're not willing to have that conversation with their wives because they don't want their wives to do a couple things. They don't want their wives to withhold intimacies on them, and they don't want their wives to blow up at them. They want to somehow like keep the peace in the house. And by keeping the peace, you're actually making everything worse for generations. So think about this, guys. I've made other videos of like how you can correct this and, things you can do and steps you can take. So look up those videos, watch the channel, subscribe, and that's it for this short chat. Out.